Hey everyone, Jeremy Jones here from AskJeremyJones.com and founder of thebookdistrict.com, a community for aspiring authors and published experts and entrepreneurs. I want to cover a quick situation that I had with a client with you here, where they didn't have a complete understanding of how the self-publishing process really works. So I'm going to give you basically an outline of how your book goes from a Word document to, let's use one example, let's say to your print book, okay? So I look at self-publishing in three phases. There's create, there's package, and there's release, okay? Creation is writing your book content, creating the outline, creating all the chapters in a way that makes sense, writing out all of your content, doing editing draft once, doing an editing draft twice, having an editor do a copyright edit that goes through the entire book, you doing your own revisions, having a proofreader go and proofread to look for spelling mistakes, that sort of thing. That's quite an extensive process up to that. After you've decided, yes, my manuscript is complete, at that point you're finished with the creation phase and you're ready to move on to the packaging phase. So as an example, I have a local print-on-demand company that I work with called Author to Market. And basically what it does is I have a interior design formatting team where basically what we do is we take your manuscript based on the type of book that you have. We can do interior design to format your book so that it looks good on paper in your book, okay? So if you're working with a publisher, they will design a format in your book that looks good for your book, okay? There's a couple of different layouts and designs that you can do. So basically what happens is you take your manuscript, which is in a, let's call it a Word document, you give that to the publisher who will be publishing your book. And basically what they're doing is interior formatting. So they're taking the text that you already have and they are putting it into a software or a program to lay that out. Typically the program that's used, it's kind of an industry standard, is InDesign. There's several others, but it's Adobe InDesign. And basically what that does is that allows for the creative person to do the interior design so that your chapter headings look good, so that your pages are formatted so it's easy to read. And you'll notice if someone is not familiar with the correct interior design, that if the pages are not formatted right, it's just difficult to read. It's hard on the eyes. And so that's what some of the things that you want to pay attention to, and that the rest of your book is professionally formatted so that it looks good. So that's the packaging phase. So based on where you want to distribute your book, so in this example I want a print version of my book, they would design the interior for that printer to be able to print the book so that it looks good when it's printed. Then there's basically two parts to that. There's the exterior, which is the book cover, the spine, and the back cover of your book for the print version. And there's the interior. The interior is typically a book front matter, which is your disclaimer and your copyright, a preface, if you do want to include that, which in fiction books, not necessarily necessary, and it's not really necessary in a nonfiction either, but it's a good point to have. An introduction, which is getting the reader in the mindset of your book, and then, chapter 1 through whatever, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, a conclusion chapter, and then you're about the author and any other additional matter at the end that you need for your book. So that's the packaging for the print version. So if you happen to catch an error or something you want adjusted or changed or modified, or a name needs to be changed or something, basically what happens is, because your book has already been formatted in a separate software than your Word document, the designer needs to go into their project files, make that adjustment in your files, but I'd also recommend that they make that same adjustment in your manuscript Word document so that you have a master Word document of your very final manuscript, because what's going to happen is you need to use all of the most recent changes for your book applied to other distribution channels. So if you want your book distributed through Amazon Kindle or iBooks and all these different distribution channels there are, and you need to format it in a different way, you have the most recent. So you don't have to have these issues where if there's an error in your text that you catch it here, but the error shows up again because they didn't update the master document. So basically what my company does is help simplify that whole process so that it's not a painful multiple revisions, multiple finding errors process for your book. And I'd recommend you find someone that can help you do the same. So if you want help and more suggestions and tips on getting your book published so it's a fun, enjoyable process and can be very, very profitable, I'd recommend that you join us in our community for aspiring authors and self-published experts, and that's called the Book District. Go to thebookdistrict.com and you can request to join our free community there, and we can also help promote your book there too. So again, this is Jeremy Jones with AskJeremyJones.com and also the Book District. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or hop in the Book District. I'm very active in there, and if you have a question, just go ahead and post the question in there. All right, bye for now.